a huge welcome to Kanani Vogelai with FruitStand Technology.
All right, so real quick, raise of hands. How many of you have ever been involved in building, developing, designing a website, and maybe it didn't go quite as planned? All right. You're not alone. So in the United States today, there are 30.2 million companies, Main Street businesses in the country. I'll get there. Of those, 64% of them have a website, and another 26% of them plan to actually build a website within the next year or two. But the problem's actually even bigger than that. So 91% of those 64% that already have a website have plans to change it in some way. So maybe they need to improve the technology or make it a little more user-friendly. So that means 27 million companies in this country today have some kind of website need. So who are these people? These are business owners, your Main Street companies who are passionate about what they're really good at, maybe not so much about their website. And so when these people are ready to have when they need a website, what's the options available to them? So I'm going to use the transportation industry as an example of how this kind of looks today. So before Lyft and Uber came along, what you had was three options. So number one, you could just own a car and drive yourself there. So it's going to be, it's kind of expensive. You got to have the car. But more importantly, you need to know how to drive it. And you need to have that car licensed and all of that. And sometimes it can be a pain. This is a lot like what people are experiencing with Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, and those do-it-yourself kinds of website builders. Another option is to hire a taxi or a car service. Now, typically, it costs a little bit more, but you'll get a higher level of service from that, hopefully. Sometimes you don't, and that can be kind of rough. Maybe you end up waiting a long time, etc. This is a lot like what people experience when they hire a web design or UX firm to build their websites. Then things started to get a little better. 2010 or so, we had these rideshare programs come about. So you could go on to Craigslist or whatever and say, I am here, I need a ride to there, and you could hook up with someone that would give you a ride. Now this is going to take time because you need to vet those people and figure out, okay, am I safe? You need a contingency plan if things go wrong. And it got a little better because we started to get reviews, and so you could say, well, I'll check the reviews and hopefully they're, that helps you build that trust. But if something does go wrong, your only recourse is just to write a bad review, and you don't really get much beyond that. So then Uber and Lyft came along, and the way that they solved this problem is by using what's called a highly curated managed marketplace. That's what FruitStand Technology is for the web development company, for the web development industry. We're a highly curated marketplace full of technical, creative people that are located all over the world. So how do you do this? How do you build it? What are the key ingredients? So number one is you need that vetted pool of technical people. So if you do good work, you can come, and you do good work with integrity, you can be a part of this group. If you don't, you're out. Another key ingredient is that there needs to be trust with the company and not with the person actually doing the work. So if that goes wrong, it's okay because that company is still there. When you get an Uber, and something goes wrong, you can call Uber and they're going to fix it for you. And that's key here. The third thing is that you need automated processes where everyone knows this is how we do it from every point. And as much of that as possible has been automated and streamlined. And when you have all these components come together, what's so powerful is that you can deliver a higher level of service for a lower cost than what is being currently provided. So over the past 18 months, what FruitStand has done is built 14 websites. And on each of these sites, we've looked at what's the process, what happened at every step along the way, and what is it that we need to build and create to actually automate and create a flow around this. So we've been able to, we've been doing this manually for the last 18 months. And, and now we're finally to a point where we're creating our MVP. And so this is how it works. So this is Jan. She runs a beauty shop, and she needs a website. So she's gonna go onto our MVP, and she's gonna say, all right, I have a beauty and wellness company. I need these 5 pages. So I'm gonna pay $275 to set that up, and $75 a month. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna ask her some questions. What do you like? What is it that you want? And we use pictures to do this because that cuts so many of the communication barriers. You can just point and say, I like that, I like that. Another thing that we really got as we've been going through this for the last 18 months is that having a website, you kind of just, you build it and you want to be done with it and you want to get back to your company. But it doesn't work that way. It needs maintenance, updates, you know, things break, you've got bugs. You know, Google changes their SEO algorithms, right? Like, you can't just set it and walk away. And then the worst part of it is, you go through all this work and 2 years later, it's obsolete anyways. And so how do companies build that in? So what FruitStand does is for $75 a month, we handle all of that. So all of your maintenance, bugs, hosting, everything. Also, every 2 to 3 years, depending on what the customer says, we completely refresh your website, included in that price. So for one simple price, you never have to worry about your tech again. Once Jan says, yep, I want to do this, she's finished her MVP, she gets her person. This person then goes and finds people from within that managed marketplace from all over the world. So, you know, SEO specialists, copywriters from right here in New Mexico, designers, software developers, website developers from all over the world. So where are we? So over the 14 jobs that we have completed these last 18 months, we've brought in $32,000. This is doing this completely manually at this stage, and our focus has been entirely on what is the process at every step, every time something goes wrong. Okay, what's the process that we put in place to make this work? Now that we're ready, we're launching our MVP. We'll be spending February and March really refining that MVP. And at that point, we'll be focusing entirely on scaling. We expect to have 4 times our revenue growth in 2019. So now is the time for this to happen. We know that the managed marketplace model is an effective disruptor in a major industry. We also have this managed marketplace in place. We've got the team and the people to do it. And we really know the pain is high and the need is high. So what do we need? What can you do to help out? FruitStand is bootstrapping this as we find that a product to customer fit. So we're not looking for financial investment at this time, but we are looking for more customers. So companies that are looking to either refresh or build a website who want to be a part of really helping us to find that perfect product to customer fit. Lastly, we are creating an advisory board. So if anyone in the room has any experience in the managed marketplace sector, please come talk to me afterwards. I'd love to hear more about you and all that. So thank you. That's FruitStand Technology.
Thank you, Kanani. So, nice job. I'll take that now. So, biggest lesson learned, like what's the value you've gotten out of this process and all the customer discovery you've done over the past 8 weeks?
Yeah, it's been really powerful. You know, the week before I started this program, my husband and I went to the Philippines and actually met developers there. And I walked away with this feeling of like, you can actually, like this company can change things in a powerful way, not only for people here in New Mexico, but people all over the world. It's this huge opportunity, and I saw this like gap between like where we are and where we want to be, and it was this like big open question of like, how do we do that? And in this program, it's crystal clear how we get there. And that has been a combination of, you know, all of the people that you've brought in, the cohort, and the amazing advice, and just everyone being able to rally around this thing. And I really feel like we can do that.
You can do that. All right. FruitStand Technology, Kanani Vogelai. Give her one more round of applause.